lovely, beautiful people, and welcome back to episode 4 of Cayana's Curious Chats, where I'll be asking the juicy questions. Today I'm joined by incredibly brave Eve, who's been living with topical steroid withdrawal for months. I'll be chatting to her. I'm excited what she's got to say. Please remember to subscribe, comment down below, like the video, and share it with your friends. It will help me so much. Hi Eve.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm alright, thank you. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, shall we jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
So today we're here to talk about topical steroid withdrawal.
Yes.
You're my expert of the day. So for anyone watching, I have a quick definition, which I'm going to read out, but
Sure.
you can walk us through all the details because
no
you're
worries.
the one who has the insight. So, okay, so I found out topical steroid withdrawal syndrome, also known as red skin syndrome, is a condition that arises from the use of topical steroids to treat a skin problem, such as eczema. It is characterized by red, itchy, burning skin that can appear after ceasing topical steroid treatments or even in between treatments.
That's basically it. Yeah, it's just so like a long-term / misuse, that's what they like to say, of topical steroids. So, and then your skin becomes addicted and then you just withdraw essentially. So it's like withdrawing from any drug. You get withdrawal symptoms, but it's something that's not really like recognized as like an actual withdrawal because it's not like people don't see it as like a drug, if that makes sense. They see it as like just an eczema cream.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, that's like, yeah, pretty much spot on the definition that you've got there.
Okay, so you have been living with it for how many months now?
So I think I'm at like 9.5 months now. So on the 1st of April, it'll be 10 months that I've been suffering.
Yes.
Going through it. But you know, definitely I feel like at least halfway. I'm hoping. I'm like fingers crossed that I don't have another big flare up.
Yeah.
But yeah, 9.5 months at the moment.
So tell us about your journey. How did it start? How did you realize you were living with it?
Yeah, so I was born with eczema. Atopic dermatitis is what I was diagnosed with when I literally came out the womb. Right. The womb, not the womb. The womb. And I came out with like a red crusty mustache. We call it the crustache, which you can see I've got going on now, which is crazy. But so when I was around 1.5, so I had to go back and like speak to my mum and check like when I was actually prescribed these topical steroids. When I was 1.5, I was prescribed hydrocortisone cream, which is like a very weak steroid cream to treat my eczema, which obviously then helped my eczema, helped get rid of it. But I was like 1.5, a baby. Like it's crazy that they prescribe these kind of creams to such young children. But anyway, so after a while, like my mum was noticing that my eczema was coming back. So she goes back to the doctors and what they do is, so I think hydrocortisone is like 0.1 or 0.5% steroid. They go up to the next one, which is like Betnovate or something like that. So something more potent. And so obviously then I use that and my eczema would go away and then I'd go back because my eczema would get worse again and they prescribed me an even stronger steroid until I got to the age of about probably 16, 17 and I was on the strongest steroid cream that you can use. And I was using it on my face, which you're not supposed to do, but I didn't know. My doctor had told me that not to use it like too much because it can thin your skin, but that was all I was ever told. So I'm thinking, well, the only thing that's keeping my skin from being horrifically crusty and gross is like not like using these topical steroids. So I was using them as much as I could possibly use them all the time. Wow. And then I was noticing that my eczema was still coming back on the strongest steroid. So then I was prescribed something called Protopic, which is, it's not an immunosuppressant, but it's something very similar. And it basically just like suppresses your eczema using this cream, but it burns when you put it on really, really badly. So I was using that for a while, but it didn't really work with me. So I stopped using that, went back onto the steroid creams. And then when I turned sort of 18, 19, I was noticing that every like 2-3 days that I wasn't using these steroid creams, I was getting like a weird like red flush rash on my face, like I'd been sunburned, but obviously I hadn't been in the sun, so it wasn't that, but every sort of like 2-3 days I'm not using the steroids. So I was like, this is really weird. So I was constantly putting the steroids on my face to try and stop this weird rash coming. And then I stumbled across it was a guy's TikTok, and I can't remember for the life of me what his name is now, but he was going through topical steroid withdrawal, and I was like, oh, like this seems quite similar. So I Googled it, and I came across itsan.org's page on topical steroid withdrawal, and it basically described all of the symptoms that I had, and I was like, so then I Google image searched worst decision of my
Oh my
life.
God, I can imagine.
The pictures I saw were horrific, like honestly terrifying.
Yes.
People with like, you know, like scabs all the way up the face, all
God.
over their body, weeping, like crusty, just awful
Not what you want to
images.
see. No.
I was like, bearing in mind, like I'm a 19, 20-year-old girl. Like I'm like, my looks are at this point everything to me.
Also, sorry to be interrupting,
No.
but I've read so much that people have stumbled across it on social media, and that's how they found out. And then they started researching it, and they're like, "Hold on, that's me."
Yeah, it's crazy. Like no one, because doctors don't tell you about it because it's not like really well recognized. That's how you find out about it. It's just social media. Maybe a week and a half later, I was at my girlfriend's uni accommodation, staying at hers, because it was like, I think there was like still COVID rules or something. So I couldn't like, we had to like stay together in order to like kind of adhere to the guidelines. And I came out in this god awful rash, like all over my body. It was like red hives all over my body. And it was like every time I would like just bend my arm like this, it would crack, like all of the skin would just crack. And so I was freaking out, and I was like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do. So I called 111. They then put me in for an emergency appointment at the hospital. So I had to drive. I was like so like honestly so ill. Like I was really poorly as well, because like my body couldn't regulate its own temperature. Like I felt so sick. I felt like shivery and horrible, like the illest I've ever felt. And I had to get in my car and drive myself to the hospital because my girlfriend doesn't drive.
Oh my
I was literally
God.
like,
Oh my God, that's horrible.
driving. It was not good. And then I got to the hospital, and the doctor prescribed me steroids to treat my topical steroid withdrawal.
No way.
Yes. So
had he ever heard of?
No. So I didn't tell him. I just said that I'd stopped using my steroid creams, but I didn't say like, oh, like I'm going through topical steroid withdrawal. I don't know why. Like he was quite dismissive and like wanted me in and out really quick. It was like a bank holiday Monday, I think, and I was like,
so not that important, you know, like.
Yeah. So it was like a bank holiday Monday. So he was obviously wanting to get me out because he's like, I just want to go and have a drink down the pub, and I was like, I can tell.
Yeah, but I want to fix my life. Sorry about that.
Poorly.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah, literally, I felt like such an inconvenience. Exactly what I felt
horrible.
like. Yeah.
We're going to come back to the topic of doctors and the whole system later. I find it fascinating that it took your own Google search to realize what condition you were living with, and then you being rushed to the hospital, and then again getting a wrong diagnosis or wrong treatment suggested for you. That is absolutely insane. Like, it's so hard to comprehend.
Literally, when I look back on it, I'm like, wow, that was really quite crazy.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so this is how you found out about TSW, just randomly on social media. That's, what are your symptoms now? And maybe walk us through the journey, what has happened to you?
So, main symptoms of topical steroid withdrawal, kind of widely for everyone, would be mostly, obviously, like this awful red skin, like insane dryness. You also get this thing called red sleeves, where like mine aren't like so obvious now, but you get it basically right up to here, and it's just bright red the whole way. And then unable to regulate your own temperature. Insomnia is probably the biggest side effect for me personally. Like I don't sleep. I sleep a little bit now, but like when I was in the height of one of my major flares, I've had 2 major flares. I would sleep for like 2 hours a night, like because it's something to do with your cortisol levels. The huge inflammation, you get like really puffy eyes, heightened allergies, weeping of the skin. As I said, unable to regulate your own temperature. I'm always freezing, apart from today, which I'm
today was sweating.
It was very warm. But yeah, so there's so many side effects, and they're different for everybody as well, which is even crazier, because you'd think that like most illnesses kind of like come with like your regular side effects, but I know so many people who go through so many different side effects. It's crazy. And also depression, because your adrenal gland isn't working properly, that can cause like mental health problems. So depression, anxiety. It's hard.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at your worst, the symptoms that you had, how did they affect your day-to-day life? Obviously, massively, I assume. But how did your life look like?
Yeah. So I was working. A lot of people go through topical steroid withdrawal, take time off work to go through this. I decided, no, not me. It's not going to be bad for me. I'm just going to work 9 till 5.
I'm just going to ignore this. Yeah. I'm just going to keep going.
Literally, that is literally just me all over. Like I have no like stop in my head. Like I just always want to go. But so I was working I'm still working now, this 9 till 5 job. And I was getting 2 hours of sleep a night, waking up, I was working from home, thank God.
Yeah.
Logging on to work and doing a full day's work. And it was really hard. And I would log off from work and sleep the whole evening. Like I would probably sleep for like 2 hours, because daytime sleeping was the only time that I could sleep, because I couldn't sleep at nighttime because of the itching. Like another side effect is a bone deep itch. Like it's probably I forgot to mention the main side effect, which is the bone deep itch.
You did say very dry skin.
So it's like this itch, but it comes from your nerves. So your nerve endings are like finally like coming back out after being suppressed by the steroids. So you get these like zappers where your skin's like, and then you get really itchy. So you don't sleep at night, partly because of this itch. And 2 hours of sleep in the daytime. I couldn't eat. I could barely I didn't want to go out. Like for the first maybe 2 or 3 months, I really struggled going out. My mum ended up having to wash my hair for me for like a good 2 months. She was washing my hair for me, and I would get like my girlfriend to wash my hair, like anyone I could. And you can't shower. So that's another one. Water burns your skin like acid. So it was just horrific. So I was having baths, but I never felt clean. So yeah.
It sounds like your body already needs so much strength to recover from what it's been going through for so long. But then on top of that, like you said, the mental health aspect, then wanting to please your family, because obviously it's a huge burden and you carry it with you. But then obviously the people surrounding you are just there with you as well, I assume.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's like strength for recovery, strength for mental health, strength because everything you do is already more exhausting than it should be.
Yeah.
You're not sleeping, you're not showering, you're not feeling yourself. It's like, what else?
I know, honestly, at this point, I was literally like, I have nothing left. I was just lying there like, please do not give me anything else.
Yes.
Like, I cannot. Honestly, it was just like thing after thing after thing after thing. So yeah, it was a journey.
How do you keep going in those situations? What do you tell yourself? Because I just imagine like everyone feels a bit low sometimes, but when you're living with those circumstances, it's just everything, isn't it? So how do you keep going?
I think honestly, without like sounding big-headed, just sheer grit and determination that I'm going to get better. Like I know there's been so many times where like my mum has just said like, maybe you should go back on steroids. Like
really,
it's almost like I don't have a choice to go back, but I just have to keep pushing forwards. And I think having like an incredible support system around me as well. So like having like my family, my girlfriend, my friends have been amazing. So that's kind of like where I'm at the moment. I would say I feel like I'm sort of like 70% healed, which is amazing. Like it feels so good. I wouldn't have been able to come here today this time like 3 months ago. So
thanks so much for coming as
well.
That's
all right. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh yeah. And all these assumptions that you're making, are these all based on what you research and what you observe with your own body? Because you're saying you think it's like so far into the condition, so long to go, and this will happen, that will happen. Is that all what you found out by tracking what happens to you, or was that also doctors that recognized the conditions and told you, look, this is what's happening?
Yeah, so a lot of like self-realization, like keeping track. Like I pretty much record whenever I have a flare, like exactly what I'm going through, all the symptoms, but also like the Facebook groups have been incredibly helpful to me, because there's like 12,000 people in this Facebook group and all of them are documenting what they're going through and how they're going through it. And that is pretty much the only information that have found to be out there about what is going to happen to me down the line. Like dermatology. So TSW is recognised by UK dermatologists, but they still don't really believe that it exists. Like, it's still kind of so new that it's trickling down into the system, but like it's not fully recognised yet. So I went to a dermatologist who didn't believe, I'm sure we'll get into that, but I went to a dermatologist who didn't believe that I was going through topical steroid withdrawal at all. And I was like, but I have every single symptom. So yeah, it's not necessarily doctors who are telling us what's going to happen, because it's such a rare condition that like nobody really understands, apart from the people who are experiencing
through it.
So yeah,
let's talk about the doctors a little bit more. Sure. So you said that when you went to the hospital, the doctor wanted to give you steroid creams, which is obviously the opposite of what you were hoping for. How was the journey with the doctors from then onwards?
Yeah, so obviously doctor prescribes me steroids, I take the steroids, I then realise my skin gets a lot better, and at that point I'm like, okay, I'm actually going to withdraw this time and I'm not going to go back on the steroids no matter what they tell me. I ended up not going to my GP, which I would just say I wouldn't recommend to anyone, just to put it out there. Like, you should always speak to your GP whether they believe you or not. Just so they know that what's going on with you. But I didn't, because I at this point kind of had no faith that they would be able to help me.
Especially when someone professional tells you no, you're wrong. I don't have the courage to do it again.
I know, exactly. She was like, you can go through the NHS to get a dermatologist appointment, but even the emergency referral is 3-month wait. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So then I discovered through work that I actually have health insurance, like private health insurance. I am so privileged and blessed that my workplace provide me with this private health insurance. So I went through them to get a dermatologist, and so I had this dermatology appointment, and I remember making a TikTok sort of like, I think it was like a week or two before, saying like, I've got this dermatology appointment, I'm really excited. I went to this dermatology appointment and she basically told me, no, you don't have topical steroid withdrawal. So she probably gave me 5 minutes to explain what I've been going through. And as you can tell, I'm a chatter. I'll go off on tangents, and I didn't have enough time.
And also with those many symptoms, how are you supposed to wrap it up?
Exactly.
Excuse me, I'm trying to remember it all.
Exactly, like, give me a minute. So she basically gave me 5 minutes to explain what's going on. She was like, let me stop you there. And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, let me stop you there. I don't believe this is topical steroid withdrawal. Yeah.
How though? You have been on topical steroids for ages. It is a thing.
Exactly.
You're off it now, and your body shows all the symptoms.
Exactly.
How do they come to the assumption it's not it?
She was saying, well, it's really, really rare, and you can only get it from if you take oral steroids. And I was like, please explain to me how, if it's called topical steroid withdrawal, that's from using topical steroids. The ones that topical means you put it on your skin.
Yes.
And I was like, but I don't understand. So she prescribed me these really strong steroid antibiotic creams. And I just remember in the dermatology appointment just breaking down crying and saying, I don't want to take steroids. Like, I've been through 7 months, I think it was at this point, 7 months of not using these steroids. Why would I go back on them?
And all this is caused by the steroids.
Yeah, exactly. And I was so upset.
How disappointing is that?
So I was really, really upset. And I came out of this dermatology appointment, and I just remember feeling so confused and lost and so upset, and like just probably the lowest I've felt throughout this whole journey, because I was just like, what do I do? Like, do I go back on the steroids? She's the medical professional. And then weirdly enough, she told me that if I continued doing what I was doing, I was going to end up in hospital. Weirdly enough, 2 weeks later, my skin improved so much. And I was literally like, well, there
you go. Just call her up again. Look at me now.
Yeah, look, I'm so tempted to send her an email and be like, I would just like
maybe
to say,
she'll see this video, you know?
Yeah, if you're watching.
You mentioned your TikToks.
Yes.
How come you turned to TikTok on your journey?
Yeah, sure. So I actually had a close friends story on Instagram that was like just like me and 30 of people that know me, like that don't necessarily like always see me that often. So like just to keep them updated on my life, essentially, like what's going through. And I used to always talk about my skin on there. And I felt like I was just harassing my family and friends, always talking about my skin. They must have been so bored of listening to me saying, I feel so crusty. I feel so red. I feel so sore. So I was like, okay, like
I need to find a new audience.
I was like, let me find someone else to complain to. All of a sudden there was like 50,000 views, 100,000 views.
I'm famous.
And I was literally like, oh my goodness. And all these comments and the views just kept going up and up and up. And I remember I was on my phone until like 1 a.m. just watching the comments, people being so kind. And I was like, tears were streaming down my face. I was like, people see me. It was so stupid.
Was that a huge relief? Just to be able to get it off your chest, even if it's people that you don't know, but just so you have an audience.
Yeah, and like it was just so nice, and like hearing other people's stories, and you know, like myself, one of the other girls who makes TikToks, Meg, another guy in Australia called Jordan, we've all been in the Daily Mail, we've been in the Mirror, and it's just it honestly feels so validating to be able to get our opinion and our voices out there when we haven't been able to before.
Yeah, when you've been denied like the actual fact of you going through this. When doctors have said, oh no, it's not it. And now finally, there's still not enough information, but finally at least you're being recognised. And
I'm just like kicking down the door to everyone, like, look at me,
I've got TSW.
I'm a crusty girl.
Shall we print shirts? TSW is a thing. Look it up, bitch. Okay, so we have talked about mental health a little bit. Let's come back to that and maybe walk us through, just before we come to the final stages of this interview, walk us through what is going on the inside. Obviously, we know all the symptoms, we know the physical stuff, which is draining and everything. But what's your brain going through, your mind, your spirit?
Sure. So I am naturally I feel like naturally quite a positive person. So I've suffered with not necessarily like depression, but I've always suffered with anxiety. So I know like going through mental health issues is really, really hard. I was not prepared for what I was going to go through. I couldn't even bring myself to get out of bed to do like regular things because I was in so much pain. And it feels like you're in this dark space and you can't even, like, you fall into the bottom of this dark space and you can't even see the light at the top. Like, you can't even see where it's going to get better. And it's so hard to remind yourself like it's going to be okay when you feel like every single day you're waking up and it's so sore. Every single day you're waking up and it's the same can I swear? Yeah, it's the same shit. Like, it's the same shit every single day. And I just remember feeling like I was definitely depressed. I was like, look, the only way that you're going to get through this is if you make an effort to be around your family and friends. Like, the only way that I can like get better in my mental health, not necessarily with my skin, is to get out of bed. And no matter how sore I am, put my clothes on, go out, take myself on a date. You know, I don't even have to go and see anyone. I can just go for a drive or do this or do that. And I think it had to be like this shift of, okay, I have to find it from inside. Instead of relying on my happiness from the outside. When I look good, I feel good. I have to be like, okay, when I'm feeling good inside, that's when I'm feeling good. And I had to find what made me feel good inside in order to get confident again and build back up my confidence. And it was really hard. And I think one of like the biggest things for me is one of the things that really helps me is that no one cares like what you look like. Literally everybody else is busy worrying about what their hair looks like, what their skin looks like. Like, my skin to me is a catastrophe, but a little spot to someone else is their catastrophe. It's all relative. Everyone's busy thinking about what's wrong with them. No one cares. Like, people might look at me down the street, but the worst they're going to think is, oh, that looks a bit sore. No one's going to be thinking, oh, she's so ugly.
And also, even if, what effect is that going to have? You know, that's like, what I always think. Okay, you don't like me, but how does it affect the rest of my life?
Exactly. Like, that person I'm never going to see again. Do you know what I mean? The people who are important don't care what I look like, so it doesn't matter. And I think that that's probably like the best thing that like pulled me out of this like depressive pit of I'm so ugly, I'm never gonna like get any better. But no, you do get better and you do heal. It's just time.
Also, you're beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Also, thank you for sharing that. Is there a foundation or something for research?
There's nowhere like you can donate to give
I was going to
funding.
say, we could put a link in the bio.
I would love to, but like I literally made a video like, guys, I don't even know like where you can donate.
Send the money to.
People are like, can we send you money? And I'm like, no, don't give me money. I don't need money. Like,
you can put it in your pocket until you find someone to put it.
Exactly. I'm like, yeah. So I am currently working on possibly starting up my own foundation of some sort, just to like try and like fund research, but I don't even know where to begin.
It's a very big task to take on. I mean, I'm on board if you need me, but you know.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I will definitely let you know if anything further comes of it. But yeah, at the moment I can't even.
It's a big task.
Yeah, which is so frustrating. I wish I could be at the end, like, yes, donate to this place, but there's just nowhere even to start for the research,
which is shocking.
Yeah, it's crazy. But hopefully, with all these documentaries coming out and more recognition on TikTok and, you know, YouTube and Facebook and whatever.
The fact that TikTok is like one of the main platforms to find information.
It's crazy.
To anyone who is going through TSW right now, have you got a message for them?
Oh, yeah. Let me think of a good message to send. I think healing happens. That's it. Just healing happens. It does happen. You will get better. Just keep pushing and be brave. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for talking to me.
No worries.
I've enjoyed this very much.
Yeah, it's been lovely.
Yeah, it's been so good to meet you.
Yeah, lovely to meet you.
Hopefully soon we'll speak in regards to the foundation and
Yes.
have big charity events.
Yeah, we'll do like an update at some point.
Yeah. In 2 years' time, you'll see us in glam on red carpets collecting money. Thank you so much.
That's all right.
Also, guys, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, follow Eve and me on TikTok, on Instagram. I think you prefer TikTok, right? Because
I mean, TikTok, I have Instagram, but I'm rubbish at using it, so mostly TikTok. But definitely subscribe and like this video, please.
Yes. I'll put the tags up and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.